Welcome to another edition of Discover Tinley, where we highlight the people and organizations in town that make Tinley Park a pretty great place in which to live. And as we all know, Tinley Park is a pretty great place in which to live. My name's Ron Centeni. I'll be your host today, and we're kind of on the road right now. The program is usually brought to us by the Community Volunteer Services of the Community Resources Commission, along with our high school, college, and adult volunteers. So a lot of volunteer work going into producing this program every month. And again, today we're on the road, and we're at the Tinley Park Public Library with a very special program today highlighting Tinley Park area authors. So the program having a whole group of local area authors coming in, showing their wares and talking about their books. And we're going to talk to them today and see what's going on the creative side of Tinley Park. We're here with Sue Bailey, who runs a lot of these programs at the library. Sue, now officially, what is your title here at the library?
I'm the Marketing and Public Relations Manager here at the library.
That's
I'm also Program Coordinator.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
Basically, I know you're the program coordinator. Now, what brought about this Authors Expo here? What got that idea started?
Well, about 2.5 years ago, we really wanted to support and connect with local authors. We had a Local Author Expo here just about 2 years ago, a huge success. And in conjunction with that, we opened a local author section where we can showcase the works of our local authors for our patrons, of course, to be able to check out.
Wow, that's tremendous.
Yes.
There's that many that you can have a whole section just for local authors?
There's quite a few. We recently opened up our local author section to authors that include all of Cook and all of Will counties because we want to grow the section and have as much available as possible.
Wow. Now, there's a lot of programs going on at the library.
Mm-hmm.
How do people find out about your programs and how do they register for them?
Oh, that's easy. Obviously, come into the library. We have a lot going on, but you can go on our website, tplibrary.org. You can go to any of our social media sites, and of course, our newsletter, which is mailed out to all of Tinley Park and Orland Hills residents.
Wow. Yeah, you have a lot of programs here, and I've enjoyed a lot of them, so I wish you all the luck in the world. So keep the programs going, and a lot of things happening at the library, so come and join us here.
Oh, yeah, for sure, and definitely come and support our local authors. It's been a great part of our community.
Wow. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thanks, Ron.
Our first guest is Rob Saylor from Tinley Park, who wrote a very interesting story about an experience he had. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing very good. Thank you so much.
What got you into thinking about writing something?
Well, I've had a history of chronic disease in my family and with myself. And so many years ago, one of my physicians suggested that my story was kind of unique and that I should look into writing a book. So as the years progressed and some of my conditions progressed, I wanted to be able to reach out to people that had similar issues so they didn't have to go through some of the same experiences.
Wow, okay. What got you started into writing? What do you like to write about?
So my story is an inspirational memoir. So I find that people a lot of times when they have chronic disease, they kind of stop pursuing their goals and dreams. So I wanted to write a memoir about continuing to pursue your goals and dreams. So in my life, I've done a lot of travel. And in that travel, after I had 5 cardiac surgeries in 2011, I wanted to make a recovery, and I wanted to put an exclamation point on that recovery. So I signed up to do a trip to Mount Everest Base Camp.
Mount Everest Base Camp. Not many people do that. And what did you accomplish there?
I was able to make it to base camp. I was able to meet a lot of wonderful people. And as fate would have it, to make my story a little bit unique, while the time I was out there, there was a 7.8 magnitude earthquake that struck Nepal, killed over 10,000 people, and left homeless countless others. And I was able to survive that incident and come back and be able to reach out to the world with my book and my words.
Wow. Where can we find your book?
You can find it through my website at www.robbessaker.com. It's on Amazon and all the different ebook sites and so on and so forth. And hopefully it'll be at the Tinley Park Library soon.
Let's hope so. All right. And you think you're going to write some more?
I may.
Has the writing bug got you?
The writing bug was interesting. I'm not sure if I'll write another book or not, but I absolutely love reaching people with my words. So I do a lot of work with the Muscular Dystrophy Association, the Myotonic Dystrophy Foundation, and several other organizations. So I love doing public speaking, and I love reaching out to people of all ages.
Well, I wish you good luck, and I look forward to reading your book. That should be interesting. Good luck to you, and hopefully the illness you have will not stop you from doing more and more things later on.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Rob Saylor. Our next guest is Dr. Gerald Henderson, who is a college advisor and educator, talking about his book. So welcome to Discover Tinley.
Okay, thank you.
What got you to think about writing this kind of stuff?
Well, you know what? I've been, working in higher ed for over 30 years, and I've seen and interfaced with a lot of students, and I know that there are many students who come to a college for all the wrong reasons, and a lot of times those reasons end up impacting them in terms of them dropping out. I've done research on my dissertation about student retention and how curriculum can impact them staying and graduating. But this book has a lot to do with students making a better choice before they even enter college. College is expensive now. And unfortunately, we still have the same problems in terms of not only retention rates but graduation rates across the country, and especially for public colleges and universities. So the onus is really up on the student to make better choices, and the way to do that is to ask critical questions, especially when they're on campus, going on a campus tour. The websites don't tell everything, and they give you all the positive, the glitz, and what the kinds of resources they have, but they don't get into the nitty gritty in terms of the faculty, in terms of what if they're student centered, what is the mission of the institution, what kinds of resources and services that they have on campus to ensure that students do succeed. So I talk about a lot of that in my book. I also talk about study skills because I used to teach study skills and how that can help you to become a better student. Many cases in secondary schools, students do not get a lot of the skills that they need to make that successful transition into higher ed. And unfortunately, that's kind of a chronic problem. Yeah.
Really, what got you even thinking about writing something like this?
Well, you know what? It's nice when you're not anchored to one institution, and I felt like, when I worked, I do some work for the Higher Learning Commission. I'm a peer mentor for the Persistence and Completion Academy, which, institutions will sign up, and they want to know, based on the data that they collect, how to do a better job in terms of retaining students that come in. And I felt like, what the heck? I think it goes both ways. I felt like that maybe it was time to write a book that deals with college choice from the student perspective, because that's an important component as well. And there's research that a colleague who I collaborate with, who provided a lot of the research that talked about college choice.
Well, I wish you luck. It's a very needed book nowadays, so I wish you luck in that, and thanks for writing it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to interview me.
Dr. Gerald Henderson. Our next guest is Valerie Bowman, who wrote an interesting book pertaining to some of the younger people in life. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you today, Ron?
Okay. And how did you get started in writing? What prompted you to even think about writing a book?
Actually, I think I've always been a writer. I'm one of those that has a pile of papers in the closet and never did anything with it until actually 2016 when I decided to write and get this one published.
Wow. And what made you think about writing this one? What's this all about?
This is a book on financial literacy and career success for millennials. It's called Anatomy of a Paycheck. And I wrote it, first of all, because I have two young people in my life, two millennials. And I wanted to make sure that they didn't make the same mistakes that I've seen baby boomers make in my years of service as a financial professional. So I wrote the book so that they don't make the same mistakes, their peers don't make the same mistakes, and all millennials, particularly graduating seniors, don't make the same mistakes in their finances and in their career decisions.
Give us one or two hints.
Well, I don't give particular advice, but generally speaking, some of the things that people do is participate in the 401k plan to the exclusion of everything else. And so what happens when you retire and take out all that money? It's taxed, right? So there are other things that I talk about that you can do, and they're listed in the book. Some of the other mistakes is that they become complacent in their careers and they don't keep it moving forward. So if they're not moving forward, they're losing out on income, one thing. And when they retire, depending on Social Security, and the average Social Security check is $1,300. So I try to give them the blueprint so they can avoid that. And I try to do it in a creative manner and not very technical, because I do have a creative side. So there are a lot of charts, examples, and graphs, but there are also some fun quotes in there too. For example, I talk about the fact that everybody has a talent. And if, for example, if you're a carpenter or a builder and you have a tool belt, but you're not using your tools, you're just basically making a fashion statement. So everybody has something that they could do. So I say in the preface of the book, now that you've graduated from college, that you can either rise to the highest level of your chosen profession or become an entrepreneur. And that's where it comes into play, where you can do something with the skills and talents that you have.
Sounds good advice. I hope they take it and read your book on this. So good luck to you, and good luck to you on your books.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Next guest is Larry Pinsky, another Tinley Park author. How you doing, Larry?
Glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you. What got you thinking about writing? Whatever started that impetus in you?
It started with my students. You know, when I was in teaching for 34 years, and they all encouraged me to write. And they know I love young adults material, so I decided to write young adult sci-fi even before Susan Collins came out with The Hunger Games. And so she wrote her book in 2008. Her trilogy became a movie in 2011. But mine, Saving the Province, you can see here, is a young adult sci-fi fantasy thriller.
Now, is it going to be made into a movie?
I am hoping it to be. I'm hoping, but you never can tell.
What made you think about writing this kind of stuff? What inspired you to write this kind of stuff?
Again, it was basically from my students and from teachers encouraging me, and my lovely wife who pushed me to it. I actually started writing back in 2005, and before I retired. And then I finished up on the first book, but it took me a while because I had some injuries, and so I had to delay it. But outside of that, I'm on the go, and everything's great.
Oh my goodness! Give you a brief idea of what this is. Can you get without spoiling it? Brief idea of what your story is about.
It's about hope. It's about hope. It's about a girl who's 16, who's a commoner, and she trying to grapple with a dystopian society, and also at the same time trying to find herself and where she fits in this society. And as she goes along, she finds out that she wanted to find out more about what she wanted to do and what she wanted to be, and she found out the government was somewhat corrupt. So,
no, government corrupt? How could you ever imply something like that? Do you think you're going to write any more stuff? Is there sequels coming out?
Yes, there's 2 more books. One's called Existence, and the other one's Reformation.
Wow. Sounds very impressive. Larry Pinsky, good luck to you, and let's keep the hope going.
Yes, it's all about hope.
Well, good luck to you.
Good. Glad to meet you, and thank you so much for the interview.
Larry Pinsky.
Thank you.
Our next author is Nick James from Tinley Park. How you doing? And welcome to the Author Expo. You're a famous author. How did you even get started writing? When did you even think about writing a book?
Sure. So I've been writing most of my life just through being in cybersecurity and having to draft policies and standards. So I was truly inspired by my co-author John and his company Code Babies, and also my son and his curiosity Josiah. I used to read John's books to my son every night, and it really got me thinking after a few months, why don't I try to see if I can reach out to Code Babies? At that time, I thought was...
Say again, to what?
Code Babies, that's the name of the company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Code Babies, and see if we could collaborate, and I can bring another topic to his arsenal of books. So my expertise being in Excel and any other other office program, I thought I'd reach out, and John accepted. And a few months later, we had a published book, and this really is an interactive and a unique way to help kids understand the power behind the program Excel and lead them step by step and really dynamically evolve them into becoming better at using Excel.
Wow, any age limit on this? Is this for how young do you go?
I'd probably say start them off at 5, but I've had adults.
5?
Yeah, 5. My son's 5, so and he understands a few components of the book. But you know, I've had adults tell me that they've learned things from this, so I can't really put a cap on it. Yeah.
Do you think you need to start writing any more? Is the writing bug really still in you?
Absolutely, absolutely. I was bit, I'm infected, and I'm going to keep going. My next series I'll be working with John on is a cybersecurity series. I'm going to be talking to kids about being safe online. I know that market may be a little bit saturated right now, but John's unique methods and his graphics they're really help kids understand and learn in a much more unique way than some other books. Not to dilute the value of the other books. They're all very good. So the cybersecurity series is going to talk about privacy. You know, what information do you have that's unique to you that other people can use maybe to bring harm to you, and how to safeguard that, and what kind of features are online on social media platforms to really help you protect your information.
Good luck. We need a little bit more of that nowadays. That seems to be a coming thing here with that. And I also want to thank you for your service as a Marine.
Yes, absolutely. Semper Fi to all my brothers and sisters out there.
All right, good luck to you, and keep up the writing. Sounds like you're at a topic we need more of.
Thank you so much, Ron.
Nick James. Our next author, Gene Grinevich, or give me the official pronunciation.
The official pronunciation is Grinevich.
That's right. That's right.
But you can get away with Grenowitz.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, thanks for coming to Discover Tinley and our expo here. What started you even thinking about writing?
I got started writing when I was a kid, watching television and watching movies. My first work was a rewriting of The Incredible Shrinking Man.
Oh, my.
It didn't go anywhere.
It stayed low, huh?
It stayed low. It continued to shrink.
Oh, no. Wow. So what kind of writing have you been doing all these years?
Off and on, I would try to write science fiction, fantasy, memoirs, and nothing went. But I continued to write poetry. And that the books here, these 4 are poems. And then children's books. So I keep myself busy.
Any theme? What's your themes of your poetry a little bit?
Surviving Parkinson's.
Okay.
Because Parkinson's, I was diagnosed in 2005 and promptly stopped writing, stopped drawing. I just waited for it to progress. It didn't. So I went back to writing and put this, what you see on the table is 2 years worth of work. So it definitely kept me busy.
Yeah, now your other writing for your kids, what kind of stuff is that all about?
Dreams, hope, belief. It's stories that are born out of folklore. And the folk tales I progress to tell and interpret with illustrations.
Wow. And you do the illustrations too?
The illustrations as well. Well, with Parkinson's, I can't sleep. So I'll sit up at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. My hand isn't tremoring, and I'll start drawing. And I'll draw until the tremoring comes back, and I have to stop.
Wow. Well, I give you credit for keeping going. That's quite an accomplishment to do that in spite of what you're dealing with. That says a lot about your perseverance.
That sounds good anyway.
Okay. All right. And what other kind of stuff are you thinking about writing? And what's in the future for you?
Well, I've got 3 more folklore books written, but I'm doing the illustrations. And that's what's taking up the time right now, because I have to concentrate. I'm doing watercolors, watercolor pencils, and some pen and ink.
Wow. All right. Well, I wish you all the luck, and keep going with your illness there, but hopefully I won't stop you from keep producing. Sounds like you've got quite a few things going. Good luck to you.
Keeps me busy.
Gene Grinevich.
Grinevich.
Grinevich. Okay. Thanks a lot. The next guest is Tom Kenz, who is a lifelong resident of Tinley Park. That's pretty neat. Welcome to Discover Tinley. And what got you started on writing? Now, what prompted that all about in your life?
Well, yeah, I was a personal trainer, and I started a walking club right down the street here. It's called Soul Seekers Walking Club at St. Stephen's Church, and people told me, hey, you should become a Toastmaster to be a better public speaker and communicator. I was a little nervous just talking in front of some of the members of the congregation and being the leader of this movement. I was trying to get people healthier at church, so I joined this group called Toastmasters, wrote a speech called Staying Positive in a Negative World, delivered it here at the Tinley Library as a part of one of their programs. People loved it. They said, you should write a book about this.
Wow. So basically, what's the point of your book? What are you writing about?
So the book is called Staying Positive in a Negative World, and it's 33 practices that you can use to have a better attitude. Seems to be a lot of negative news, a lot of negative everything in the world today, and what I'm trying to do is show people that that's not the case. There's a lot of good people in the world doing a lot of good things. You just never hear about them, and here's ways to program your brain to look for the good in the world, and that's what this book's all about.
Wow, I think we need more of that. What's one or two you can give us right off the bat here?
Oh, two. Well, biggest thing.
Without spoiling the book now. We want to get people to buy your book, but one or two special ones?
The one that I really use all the time is the concept of I get to. I used to say, I got to cut the lawn tonight. It would be this drudgery, but then I changed that. It said, I get to. I get to cut the lawn because I'm privileged enough to own a home. And when you change that from this victim, I got to do this, to, yes, I'm a creator. I am privileged enough to have a home. I'm privileged enough to take kids to a soccer game. It goes from I got to take the kids at a soccer game to I get to take the kids at a soccer game. They're healthy enough to play soccer. That's a privilege. That's good, something to be grateful for in my life. So that's one of them. The other one I really recommend is people gratitude log. I call it Catch the Good. It's writing down things you're grateful for each night, reprograms your brain to show you more of the good that's in your life. So yeah, there's two right off the bat that I think could help anybody.
Sounds beautiful. I hope we should get more people to think that way and do that. So maybe we can get your book really out there and help people out.
Absolutely, and that's what this is all about, is just helping other people.
And you say that you lived in Tinley Park. Any highlights of your life in Tinley Park so far?
Absolutely. The one where I talk about being in the Navy, and the title of that chapter, is It Could Be Worse. And I go through growing up, going to St. George grade school and racing home to watch G.I. Joe the cartoon on WGN, and how that patriotic sense was just kind of instilled in me and my family. And I joined the Navy, and it was a little rough for me, but it taught me a lot about my life and about people. It gave me a different perspective. And then whenever I'm really down, I can look back and go, you know what? It could be worse. I could be on a ship with 5,000 guys in the middle of the ocean at the lowest part of my life, but I'm not anymore. And that's a way to look at it, and reframe it in a better way, too. Well,
thank you for your service in the Navy, and wish you luck with your book. Keep up the good work.
Okay, thanks, Ron.
Tom Kenz, Tinley Park resident. Our next guest is Erika Gloria Moore. That's quite a title for a name. Very good. Welcome to Discover Tinley. What got you started in writing?
Well, it's a 9-year dream with the book. I always wanted to talk about my life and to help young girls and women to be successful. So do you want to know the full amount of what the book is about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, tell us.
Okay, so the book is called Memoirs of Singlehood and the Steps Towards Marriage. So it gives you little snippets of my life, some from elementary school until current. And it talks about when I was bullied, when I wanted to kill myself in 4th grade, low self-esteem, some poor decision making. And so each chapter has freedom challenges and freedom prayers, so it's meant for each woman and girl to have their own journal and to learn from my life, and I challenge them in each chapter, so at the end of my journey, they're healed on the end of their journey.
Wow, that sounds like a lot. That's what prompted you to get into writing about it, though. That's quite a big step to write about it.
Well, it was a big step because I'm very transparent in the book, but most people get helped when you're transparent. So I felt by me being open that it would bring hope and encouragement and help a lot of people not do the same things that I did.
What's the one or two hints you have in your book without spoiling the whole book?
Hints of?
What you're talking about. What single people should be thinking about before marriage.
Yes, well, single people should be thinking about their dreams and knowing their value. A lot of times, especially girls, they always think about, oh, to be married, they think that's the ultimate goal, and they don't think about their own dreams. So then, because they're not focused on themselves, they find validation from places, people, and they may make poor decisions. So I'm trying to help you to get your focus back on you and be able to move forward in life, and then when that guy comes along, great, but you're not sitting there waiting for that. So
that sounds tremendous. Wish you all the luck in the world. You got any other books on the men thing going here? Any other books in the future?
Well, part 2 is when he actually comes along. So when that happens, you'll see part 2.
All right, we got the sequel already going there.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for coming to Discover Tinley, and I wish you all good luck in your book, and keep going with it, and keep encouraging these young ladies to get a positive outlook on things.
Yeah, thank you, and I'm happy to be here.
All right, Erika Gloria Moore. Next guest is Doris Birch, another Tinley Park author. You like writing?
I do. It was surprising because I didn't never consider myself a writer.
What made you think about writing, actually getting down to be an author?
Well, what made me do it was really, I had a download to create a book. And I was like, okay, so what do I want to write about? And what I really believe that is every woman has a story. So I wanted to first tell stories of other women. So I have 3 anthology books that tell the stories of 23 different women, and in my own story, in my own book.
So what kind of stories are we talking about? What are you talking about for the women there?
Well, there's stories of women who have triumphed against different odds, stories on developing self-love for themselves, and stories of women who got to a point where they can honestly say, I am enough. And they create their life from that place. Or they create their life from the struggle that they went through or the hardship that they went through. And there was another side of it. And the amazing thing of it is that all those women stories led to them creating their own businesses so that they're making a bigger impact, which I like to always call that ripple effect. And so women are making much, much more contribution to changing people's lives.
Wow. This is your first books, or have you written other ones?
No, these were my first books. I wrote 4 books, published 4 books in 9 months.
Do you eat and sleep?
I did, but it was so empowering to do that. I mean, the energy around it was that I believe these books needed to be out, and the stories needed to be told, and so it was just like, I'm going to get this done.
Okay. How long did it take you to do these books then? 9 months, you said?
They published in 9 months. The first book took a little longer to write. But once I learned, I sped up the process, and in that created my own book, because I was like, well, I'm telling other women's stories. I should tell my own story too. And so then I wrote my book as well, but here's the deal. I gave myself permission to have a small book. It didn't have to be a big book. It just had to be a book that was going to be impactful.
Wow. Are there more books in your future writing?
I do believe so. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. I give you credit for spending the time to do that. That's a lot of energy to do. So you're young enough, you got all that energy.
Yeah, it does take a lot of energy. But, when you are about empowering women, that fuels you.
Right. Yeah. Doris Birch, another Tinley Park author. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got a group here that meets at the Tinley Park Library called the Writers Group. It actually tries to encourage people writing, and we have Judy here. Basically, what is your group all about?
Our group is a group of writers, or would-be wanna-be writers, and we meet once a month on the last Monday of the month between 6:30 and 8 o'clock. We go through techniques in writing, and we also do critiquing of each other's writing.
Wow, that sounds pretty impressive there. How many people in your group?
It started with 44.
Oh my goodness.
So now there's 33. So we're looking for more people to come on in and bring your writing, and we can critique and have some fun and get to know each other and help each other out.
Wow, 30. That sounds like a lot of people there. Okay, again, when and where do you meet?
We meet the last Monday of every month from 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m.
And just come to the library and show up.
Just show up here at the library.
The Writers Group of Tinley Park. Well, it's really amazing to see the tremendous authors, the great variety of authors we have out in Tinley Park and the great subject matter they have. Thanks for watching Discover Tinley, and we'll see you next month.